Just before we get into this video, I will be running a Q&A in July, so please submit your questions below and then we will look at them and try and answer as many as possible. Please subscribe to the channel, and if you want notifications, please use the bell button at the top of the screen. Hello, I'm Rosie Hardy, owner of Hardy's Cottage Garden Plants. Today the video is going to be about how to protect your hostas from slugs and snails. So the hostas, everybody loves a hosta. They grow them in containers like this. This is a beautiful full-grown Hosta cherry berry, and it hasn't got a lot of slug and snail damage, although this leaf is showing ideally what slugs and snails can do, and that is make amazing amount of damage right the way through, and eventually through the summer months they just become lacy, and really people don't want that. So there are all sorts of techniques out there for making sure that you don't have a problem with them. Copper bands work if you put them right the way around the base of a container. Or what we tend to do and what we like to use is the organic slug killer, and these ones you have to reuse all the time. They are very pale blue coloured. They're not the bright blue horrible poisonous ones that everybody used to get. And you might be wondering why I've got a square bottle like this. Well, the answer is use a spoon like this, which is a long latte spoon. Pour a few slug pellets onto the spoon so that you are not touching these pellets with your hand, and then put them into the bottom of the actual jar. So a square jar like this, and then put the slug pellets right at the bottom of the jar with your spoon so that you don't actually have to touch them, and they're there at the end of the jar. Why a square jar? Well, it doesn't roll around, does it? So when you put it on the ground next to your plants, it is just going to sit there. And what happens is these are slug bait. So that means they actually attract the slugs to them. And what happens is the slugs and snails come along, they go into the jar and they go in and they eat the slug bait, and then either they crawl out having eaten it and then die somewhere else, or they die inside the jar. The beauty of putting them inside something like this, like a glass container, is that they don't get wet. So therefore they last a lot longer. If you put these pellets down and you just put them around the base of a plant, or scatter them very, very thinly, because you shouldn't use them in a large quantity, then they will, once they get rained on, become ineffective. This particular brand is Doff. It's an organic, it's a potassium based one, therefore it is safe to use around children, birds, bees and other animals. We tend to, with our show plants, wait until the noses, that's the buds as they come through, you wait until they are about the size of your index finger, and then you sprinkle or tip a few of the slug pellets around on there. And we only use one application and the plants stay pretty clean. By the time we get to, yes, you know, the end of July, August, then these plants will start to get eaten. But we need them for early on for show purposes. But if you in the garden need to, then do that. The other thing that is very, very good, and you'll find lots of recipes out there, is using a garlic drench, and that works incredibly well. Thank you very much for listening, and please subscribe to the channel.